Well, that was all too easy for Manchester City. Wow, oh wow. They completely wiped the floor of Liverpool here, man. It was not even close at all. Liverpool barely even put up a fight. Man City well and truly showed their class. Completely wiped the floor in every facet of the match. Dominated Liverpool from start to finish. Liverpool had a little bit of moment, a little bit of magic where I thought, hold on, they could do something here. But then he kept their assertiveness, kept the ball ticking over, kept it moving, and it was men versus boys, to be completely honest. Well-deserved victory for Man City, who do exactly what they need to do, and that is reduce the gap back to 5 points. They played ahead of Arsenal now, who've got a game in about 25, 30 minutes time from when I'm live streaming this, and I'll be obviously watching that one, and it's big. It's very big. This is a big win for Man City, not only because it's Liverpool, the team have been fighting for the Premier League in seasons gone by, but no Haaland. How are they going to respond to coming out of an international break? Before the international break, they were firing on all cylinders. They were looking really good, really attack-minded. But today, they kept it moving, man. It's as if the international break never even happened. Kept their momentum, kept on flowing, and deservedly got a victory again today. I thought some of their play was brilliant in there. Really, really good. I've said on this channel before, I think Haaland's a brilliant footballer, unbelievable striker, but he doesn't necessarily suit Man City. And I think, honestly, this was one of their best performances. For me, this was Manchester City's best performance this season. It was better than when they beat Man United 6-3. Honestly, some of the football they were playing in there, it was beautiful, man. Between the lines, breaking up play, their press was brilliant. Everything was so good for Man City. And Julian Alvarez is looking like a mini Gabriel Jesus for them. Honestly, I believe it. Honestly, I think Pep Guardiola is going to mold Julian Alvarez just like he did with Gabriel Jesus into that striker that can slot in, be another midfielder, be press resistant, be able to press at the same time, be a proper team player. Because Julian Alvarez, again, proved today he's a perfect Pep Guardiola type player. And I've said it before, they don't need Erling Haaland. This was their best performance this season for me. It was their best performance. And they looked fluid from back to front. They looked so good. And it wasn't like they were all waiting for Haaland to score the goals. The whole team contributed. Man City scored 4 goals today, all from different goal scorers. The whole team got involved. Everyone was happy. Everyone was playing fluid football, and it just goes to show that Man City can keep it moving, keep the chains moving in this title race, and it's a big win for them, man. Big win, especially considering playing first, 12:30 kickoff, the fact that you're playing so well before the international break. Your star striker is injured against a Liverpool team that I know obviously haven't been as good as they have been in previous seasons, but it's still rivalry. Pep versus Klopp. It's been a big rivalry over seasons gone by. They did not let it hinder them. Brilliant performance from Man City. I thought they played superb today. Moving on to Liverpool quickly. I mean, just goes to show they're not quite at the level. Over the past few seasons, I know Man City and Liverpool have gone toe-to-toe, but Liverpool, I've rarely seen them completely get demolished by Man City. I remember when they lost 5-0, but that was because Mane got sent off very early in the match. Liverpool just knocked the races again today. This season, Liverpool have not been good. Fact of the matter, they have not been good. But it's one thing not being technically good. Because it can happen. Like you can have games where you're not quite at it, the football ain't great, the ball ain't finding the back end net. That's fine. But mentally, Liverpool don't look at it. It's not a team of fighters. It's not a team of players that are willing to put everything on the line to win football matches. It's a team that looks a shell of themselves. And it's a team that needs a big reset in the summer. Massive reset for Liverpool Football Club. Because some of that team need to go. Not because they're not good enough in terms of footballing ability, because I believe a lot of them are. You don't automatically become horrible at football overnight in one season. But mentally, they're not quite at it. They're not a team that really wants to win football matches anymore. And it's harsh to say, but it's looking true. They need new, fresh blood in there and a team that's going to fight for the badge again. Because too many players, not good enough. Gakpo up front, not good enough. His final ball, his final shot, not good enough. Jota anonymous. Salah scored his goal. Big up for him. But other than that, what did he really do? Harvey Elliott looked a bit lost in midfield sometimes, man. Fabinho, stiff. He used to be compared with Rodri. Now he's not even in the conversations. It's Partey, Casemiro, and Rodri. Fabinho doesn't even get a mention. Henderson, fair enough, captain of the football club, big player for them. But again, he's lost his legs. Then we go into the back four. This Liverpool team cannot defend. They can't defend. I don't get it. Trent, not a defender, losing his man in the back post. Not even squaring up defending properly for that first Man City goal. Van Dijk, no composure in defense. I mean, you've conceded as soon as the second half started. You go into halftime 1-1. It's been a brilliant game, feisty game. Klopp would have told them, let's keep it tight. Man City going to push for a winner because they're at home. They've got the urgency to try and win the game. But our counter-attack game is strong because Liverpool's counter-attack game was very strong in that game. They scored their first goal from the counter-attack and almost got a second goal from the counter-attack before City went up the other end and made it 1-1. But what did? They conceded after a minute. That's a very weak team. You can't concede and fold within 30 seconds. That's just a sign of a poor football team. The second half started and instantly they conceded. They had nothing to hang on for. Like, I don't get it. Like, their game plan should have been frustrate Man City in that second half. Frustrate Man City, they'll throw more bodies forward, and then we'll pip them on the counter-attack. That should have been the game plan. But it went out the window as soon as the second half started. Just not good enough. Liverpool, they need a big reset. They really do. Top four is massive for them. Absolutely massive. They need to make it. Because if they make top four, they salvage which has been a poor season. Let's be completely honest. This has been a very poor season for Liverpool. They're not going to win a trophy, but if they make top four, they salvage it. Because then it's one of those things. You say, look, we still got Champions League football. We'll attract some players, get rid of the deadwood, and we go again in the summer. Maybe FSG go, maybe they don't. Maybe we recruit the players like Jude Bellingham, for example. Either way, we go again. But if they miss out on Champions League, suddenly there's less income into the football club. Secondly, they're a less attractive option. Secondly, heads start going. People start calling for the manager's head at times. It doesn't look good if you miss out on Champions League football. Because even the most pessimistic Liverpool fans at the start of this season would have said maybe they finished second or third. No one would have thought Liverpool miss out on Champions League football this season. No one. People would be saying title race Man City, Liverpool. But the fact, if they miss out on Champions League football, which can happen, they've got a massive few games now. City, Chelsea and Arsenal, big 3 games. I mean, if they miss out on it, that's a bad look for Liverpool Football Club because a lot of recruitment is dependent on them making the Champions League. So they need to pull up their socks. They need to get going again. They've got Chelsea away from home on Tuesday. It's a quick turnaround. They need to get a result there. And then Arsenal at home. Luckily, they're at Anfield. So I think they can get a result against Arsenal, to be completely honest. But they need to start moving in the right direction because this is a team that looks beatable. It's a team that looks weak. Let me know your thoughts of Liverpool in the live chat. As always, back to Manchester City again. This team, are they going to win the league? I don't know. I'm an Arsenal fan, so obviously my head's saying Arsenal. But as an Arsenal fan, I was nervous watching this. I was more nervous watching this than I was watching any other time Man City plays football because they looked really good today, Man City. Really good. Like this whole season, I've been saying it from the start. Anyone that's kept up this channel from early in the season, I said the reason I think Arsenal got a good chance for this Premier League, not because we're looking so good necessarily, even though we are, is because Man City haven't looked themselves. Man City have looked poor at times, but today they looked really fluid. They looked like a team that I've seen in previous seasons by Man City. They looked really good from back to front. They knew when to foul. They knew when not to foul. They knew when to play forward, when to play sideways. They knew where to attack Liverpool. They knew the weaknesses. It was a Man City team that was a team of champions, solid football club. And they looked at today, and that's what got me nervous. Because if a Man City team turns up like this, they can win their remaining Premier League games. They can win every game left if they play like this. Because that was unbelievable from them again today. There was a controversial match in the point, though, I do want to pick up on, is the Rodri second yellow. For me, it's a stonewall second yellow card. I don't care if he barely touched him. Liverpool are through. I believe it's Cody Gakpo. They're through on a counter-attack. It's a 4-on-4 or a 4-on-3, and Rodri brings him down. I don't care. It's 2 minutes after he got his first yellow. That is a second yellow card, and that is a sending off by the letter of the law. They got away with one there, Man City. I mean, let me know your thoughts, but I think that was a second yellow card, and Man City should have been reduced to 10 men. There's no two ways about it. They weren't. And fair enough to them. They kept it going. They managed to turn around after going 1-0 down and winning convincing fashion 4-1. But it could have been a different game. Because if Rodri gets sent off and it's 1-1, and that's their stalwart, that's their CDM in there, getting sent off, and it gives Liverpool more license with 11 men to push on, it could have been a different football match. But that's the way it goes sometimes. I think the inconsistency in the referees this season has been really poor at times. I really do think so. I think that was a second yellow. But other than that, Liverpool haven't really got much to complain about, to be completely honest. Man City completely walked the floor of them. It was men versus boys. They didn't have a sniff. They didn't have a hope. I mean, in the first half, they looked good. That first goal was really good off the counter-attack. They had a chance after that. And they had chances in their match in Liverpool, but they're just not clinical. It's a shell of the Mane, Firmino, Salah front three. I mean, you're looking at Gakpo. You're looking at Jota. You're looking at Salah. I'm not seeing enough clinicality. I'm not. And that's meant to be Liverpool's front three. Liverpool over seasons have had the best front three in football. But they just don't look clinical. I don't feel worried when that front three gets the ball. And it's crazy because at times they're amazing. We saw them beat Man United 7-0. They've won 9-0 against Bournemouth this season. Liverpool's front three has the potential to be devastating, but they just don't show it enough. They're so inconsistent. They're hot, they're cold, they're Jekyll, they're Hyde. They're not quite at it consistently enough to deserve to beat anyone in the top four race. But fortunately for them, they are. Because by hook or by crook, the other teams are just not at it. No team wants this top four right now. It's crazy. Man United are lurking in now. I believe they will get top four. Newcastle, Tottenham, Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool. Who's going to make it? Who knows, man? Who knows? Going to brilliant top 4 race. If I had to go off my gut, I think I would say Liverpool would still make it, just because I think they can pull it together. And I think Tottenham, with their injuries and the fact they've sacked Conte, I don't see any consistency there. Of course, Newcastle, they've been good at times, but are they going to still reach back to their top form? I think with Isak, they've got a chance. I'm not sure. So I think just by process of elimination, Liverpool will make top 4, in my opinion, but not because they necessarily deserve it, not by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think any Liverpool fan can sit here and say we deserve top 4 the way we're playing. Away from home, they are horrible. They are horrible. Wolves, they got piped. Brighton, they got piped. Today, again, fair enough, it's Man City, but it's the way you lose football matches. Anyone can lose to Manchester City, but you don't lose in that fashion. Your neighbours, Everton, came here and got a point. You tell me Everton are better than you? No chance, man. Everton won the worst football teams. And they got a point here because they were resilient. They fought for the badge. These Liverpool team doesn't fight for the badge. They didn't lay a glove on Man City. I'd rather Liverpool lost 4-1 going gung-ho and trying to win the football match. But they lost 4-1 playing timid, playing passive, playing like a team that didn't really care, a team that was scared. That's not a side that should represent your football club. And Liverpool today, again, showed that. And it's not quite good enough. They need a massive rebuild. The midfield needs to be addressed in the summer. Needs to be addressed. Fabinho is too old. His legs are not at it. He can't keep up with the Premier League midfield. I think they need Matheus Nunes from Wolves or João Paulinho from Fulham. One of those two, just to be a brick in that CDM, because them two are brilliant. Or Caicedo. One of those 3 Liverpool needs to target. Paulinho, Matheus Nunes, or Caicedo. They need Bellingham. They need a box-to-box young midfielder that the fans can get behind and can be a stalwart for years to come. They need to replace Wijnaldum. And I think Bellingham can be that replacement, because they've not replaced Wijnaldum, Liverpool. Ever since he left the doors to go to, I think it was Barcelona, they've not replaced Wijnaldum, and they need someone like that, and Bellingham can be exactly that guy. They get a CDM in, like Caicedo, like Matheus Nunes, like Paulinho, and they bring Bellingham in, and Liverpool got a chance. Because I think their back 4, although it's not amazing, that's the same back 4 that won them the league. So it's not a horrible back 4. They're just getting exposed by the midfield. Your midfield can save your back 4, trust me. Trust me, the CDM is the most important position on the pitch. If your midfield's strong, it can help a back 4. If your midfield's weak, your back 4 gets exposed. And Liverpool's back 4 gets exposed with that weak midfield. Why do you think Trent gets exposed at the back? Because who's he got on his side? Harvey Elliott, or like, what's Harvey Elliott going to do defensively? Big up to him, man. He's a young boy making it in the Liverpool side, but he's not got quite the tactical nous or the ability to be that stalwart at centre mid. And Trent's getting exposed. He's getting pulled out that way. Konate is trying to help him. Van Dijk's getting shifted over. Robertson's getting shifted over. Oh, wait, there's an overload on the other side. That's what happened every single point in this football match, man. Liverpool got shifted over, overload to Mahrez, overload to Grealish, and it was danger. It was literally danger zones. Man City were getting the diagonals into the box, attacking from wide areas, and it was looking like a long day. The Wolves were closing in for Liverpool Football Club. They need to address it in the summer. They need a midfield. And Champions League can be that saving grace for them. Making Champions League football allows them to get that midfield. For Man City, though, they're going to chase this Premier League. They really are. As an Arsenal fan, my only hope is that they get distracted by playing this club, Bayern Munich, in the Champions League. That is my only hope as an Arsenal fan. Because right now, City look good. They look really good. I'm not worried about Haaland being out. A lot of Arsenal fans will celebrate when Haaland's out. For me, Haaland is a brilliant player and he will score goals. But Man City don't get worse with Haaland out of the team. If anything, they showed today they get better. Because Man City looked better as a team here. With Haaland, they look devastating. But today, they looked ruthless. They looked ruthless with Alvarez dropping into midfield. They look like a team of killers. They look like a team of assassins. They look like the Avengers. That's what they look like. When they have Haaland in their team, they look like Superman or Batman. Like one guy just getting all damage. Today, they look like the Avengers. The whole team was playing. Like you had Iron Man left wing, you had Spider-Man right wing. Like it looked good. It looked really, really good for Man City. Their whole team was ticking. Everyone had a good game. Grealish, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Rodri, Foden won't play, sorry. Bernardo Silva off the bench looked good. Their whole team, Alvarez, it looked really good in there. Gundogan as well. They looked good without Haaland, all playing as a team. They weren't looking for that killer pass to Haaland. They were just looking to play their football. Whoever's open, pass it to him. Dribble, pass. Swing the ball over from side to side. Transitions. 11, 15, 25 passes before you get the ball in the back of the net. It looked like a Pep Guardiola side again. So I'm not worried about Man City losing Haaland on their behalf. I think they're going to look better without Haaland. I'm worried about the fact that they're going to start clicking into gear now. And as an Arsenal fan, we need to keep up.
because it's 5 points now. We've got a game. It's tied on games. So of course, going to play Leeds United in 15 minutes or so time. I'm going to be watching that game and, of course, reacting to that match. So make sure you subscribe down below if you don't want to miss that live stream to Arsenal Leeds coming up in about 2 hours or so time. But Arsenal needs to keep knocking at the door because a lot of people are saying, oh, Arsenal favourites, Arsenal favourites. Yeah, we are favourites. We're 5 points clear right now. But we drop points here against Leeds and suddenly it becomes Man City's title because we still got to go to the Etihad. We still got to go to Anfield. We still got to go to St. James's Park. It's not an easy run-in for Arsenal. And this Man City team, what I saw today from them is the first time this season I've seen Man City look like a team that can sustain a run. So I've seen Man City this season and they haven't looked quite at it. I've watched a lot of football this season and a lot of Manchester City. And I think, look, Man City fans feel free to prove me wrong and talk in the comments about it. But you haven't looked a ruthless side. You've looked good and you're getting results. But I've seen Man City and I think there's something missing. There's something not quite right. There's something missing from their game. But today, I didn't see anything missing. They looked really good. Both facets of their game, defense and attack. This new formation playing like a back three and then Stones in centre mid, basically playing like 4 centre backs in the team. Maybe it's really working. It's really working potentially for Man City. And it's something to build going forward because they're packing out that midfield now and they're getting results. Can you also do a reaction to their classic Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund? I can do. To be fair, I was planning to react to Chelsea versus Aston Villa, which is a 5:30 game in the Premier League. I mean, I can do either one, to be completely honest, but I was prioritizing Chelsea versus Aston Villa just because it's a Premier League game. And of course, I like to keep up the Premier League more than anything. I think both of the games are played at 5:30. So I can do either, to be fair, CU1. But I think you're a Chelsea fan anyway, bro. So wouldn't you rather I do the Chelsea game, to be completely honest? But yeah, back to Man City. I think they got to keep this run going now. I think they got a lot of games coming thick and fast. They got the Champions League against obviously this club, Bayern Munich. They're going to prioritize that, I believe. It's going to be a tough game for them. I really can't wait for that football match. In the meantime, in between time, they've got Premier League matches. They've got Southampton away coming up. Don't think that's an easy game. Southampton's a bit of a bogey side for Man City. They're going to be fighting for their lives. The thing with the Premier League now, the way it's going, because of how tight it is at the back and at the front and at the top, every game is a 6-pointer. There's ramifications for every match. Trust me, you think that you're playing Leeds United at home. You're playing Crystal Palace away. You think you're playing Southampton. It's going to be an easy game. They're bottom of the table. When it's relegation, anything can happen. These teams seem to pick up points. Anything can happen around this time of the season. So no game's going to be easy because there's a lot to fight for this Premier League. The only side that's not really fighting for anything is Chelsea and Aston Villa. Every other team is fighting for something in this Premier League, whether it's Champions League, whether it's the league title, whether it's Europe, whether it's relegation battle. Every team's fighting for something, meaning every game has ramifications. So it's big. Now, I don't mind that game is bigger. Yeah, of course, Bayern Munich versus Dortmund is bigger. But to be honest, I don't really keep up with Bundesliga. I only really keep up with the Premier League. So I think I'm probably going to do the Chelsea-Aston Villa game, to be completely honest. But yeah, so I will be reacting to Chelsea-Aston Villa as a live stream after. So make sure you subscribe and check that one out when that comes out, that live stream, as well as, of course, Arsenal versus Leeds United as well. That game's a title decider. I mean, yeah, Bundesliga's been tight, right? We've got Freiburg, we've got Union Berlin as well. But they've got obviously a new manager, Tuchel. Anything can happen with Bayern. I'll tell you when I'll be watching Bayern, when they play Man City. That's when I'll really be watching them. So I can't wait for that game. It's going to be brilliant. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts on the title race, guys, as well, because Arsenal, of course, I'm going to be reacting to that game. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, Saka's been dropped for this game. I don't necessarily think he's been dropped for anything other than maybe a slight injury or maybe to keep him fresh because he has played a lot of football. He played both games for England. And we have got more than enough firepower with Martinelli, with Jesus, with Trossard to get a result there. So I'm not too worried about Saka's absence, to be completely honest. I think Arsenal should still have enough. Liverpool has failed to get top 4. Mohammed says, Liverpool has failed to get top 4. I mean, look, it's looking that way, to be fair. Liverpool have not been good whatsoever. Today, again, they showed absolutely no fight in there. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I was worried watching that, to be completely honest. They didn't show any sign of a team that was up for fighting for top 4. But they can still make it by process of elimination because, thankfully for them, no team wants top 4, it seems. Tottenham sat their manager in 4th position. They don't look like they're getting there. You got Newcastle United, who, fair enough, they're sticking by it, but are they really going to survive enough to get top 4? Brighton are in and around there. Brentford are in and around there. Chelsea, I don't think they're going to have enough time to pull off any sort of comeback to get near the top 4 positions. So really and truly, it's still Liverpool's to lose. But performing like this, they won't get it. They need a big bounce back against Chelsea and an even bigger bounce back against Arsenal on the weekend. It's a big few games for Liverpool Football Club coming right up. In the Premier League battle, I think like 9 teams separated by 4 points from 12th to 20th. Exactly. It's a massive, massive, tightly contested in that bottom side of the table. You've got Crystal Palace on one side, basically. You've got Southampton at the bottom, I believe. And it's fiercely contested. Every game is big. Every single game. It's looking like you can get 2 wins and you can be out of that battle. Honestly, it's so crazy the way it's going, man. There's so many teams pulled into it. And a big team could go down this season. A Leicester, a West Ham, a team like that could honestly get relegated this season. I would not be surprised if it happens because it's just the way it's going this Premier League season. Anything can happen whatsoever, and I can't wait for it one bit. As always, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe, guys, on my road to 2,000. Ben White has gone down the tunnel while the club doctor. Oh no, I haven't been. I'm about to stream the Arsenal match as soon as it starts in about 5-6 minutes or so. But that's not looking very good, especially the fact that Tomiyasu's out as well. Maybe it's just a precaution or something. I hope Ben White isn't injured because he's our only notable right back right now. If Chelsea win, they go 1 point behind Liverpool. Wow. Well, I didn't even know that. The table must be tighter than I thought then if that's the case. Wow. Okay. Well, if Chelsea beat Aston Villa today, which is a winnable game at Stamford Bridge, and I will be reacting to it, that's big. Chelsea, to be fair to them, look, I'm not a massive fan of Graham Potter. I'm really not. But they are clicking. Bit by bit, they are. I can see it. I can see a football team there. Against Leicester City, they look really good. They look really good against Leicester. I thought that was brilliant football as well. I thought against Dortmund, when they won the Champions League, they looked really good as well. Against Everton, fair enough, they looked a bit fragile at the back. But their football, it looks good. It does remind me of Arteta at Arsenal at the start, where you're not getting results and you're looking a bit feeble, but you're seeing a process there. Like, you're seeing a team that's starting to play football. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they should be further ahead in the process, given the amount of money they've spent. Given they've got £100 million footballers in there, like Fernandes, like Mudryk, they should be firing on all cylinders. But either way, I do see a team that's starting to make some progress with Chelsea. And look, if they win today, it might be too soon for them to try and get top 4 this season. But they are on the upward trajectory, and that is a team that's going to go for it next season. A full preseason under Graham Potter, look, anything can happen. Liverpool futures in big trouble for Champions League football next season. Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier as well, Mohammed, man. I think that Liverpool need to get top 4. They need to attract the top players. They need it. They need the Jude Bellinghams. They need the likes of that. Will he go if Liverpool in the top 4? Potentially, because it's still a team that is a massive football club. Liverpool is still the second biggest football club, in my opinion, in England, behind Manchester United. So they're still an attractive proposition. But if they really want to be taken seriously again, they need to make Champions League. Especially because, believe it or not, yeah, no matter how bad Liverpool are, they still are a Champions League team. They're a European side, just like Chelsea. Chelsea and Liverpool are European football teams. They're European powerhouses. They find a way to make it work in Europe. No matter how bad they are in the league, they'll make it work. So Liverpool being in the Champions League, it gives them a lifeline. I know they lost to Real Madrid this year, but that's Real Madrid. I honestly believe they play any other team, they probably could get through that tie. Real Madrid is just another mentality monster in the Champions League. So they need to be in the Champions League to secure their future. They honestly need to. By being in the Champions League, they've got hopes that their season is still not over, that they can fight on multiple fronts, and it allows them to attract the top players. But they need a reset. And Champions League football helps because you can attract the top players, the revenue as well. Because like I said earlier, even the most pessimistic Liverpool fans would not have expected them to not make Champions League football this season. I think even the most pessimistic fans would have said maybe 3rd or 4th potentially. No Liverpool fan at the start of the season, no fan of any club, to be honest, would have thought Liverpool would not make Champions League. So they would have priced in a lot of their contracts with the intention or with the thought that they would make Champions League football. So missing out on Champions League football would probably give them the feeling that, hold on a minute, a lot of these contracts, a lot of our income is dependent on us making a Champions League. That's a massive hit to our income. That's a massive loss in potential revenue. We're going to need a change. It means they can't sign the top players. That coupled with the fact that FSG, I mean, whether they were looking to sell the club, sell a minority stake, sell a majority stake, it's still up in the air. Either way, if you're selling a football club, you're not going to want to invest. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. If you're going to want to sell a football club, you're not going to want to put your own money into it just now. There's no point. So then there needs to be some kind of turbulence around Liverpool Football Club that needs to be sorted out, to be completely honest. But they've got a lot to change. They have an awful lot to change in Liverpool Football Club to get back to the top of their ability. Because I've said it from early this season, I thought Liverpool would have a little hangover, given they were in all four competitions last season. Their squad isn't the deepest. I did not think it would be this bad, though. I did not think Liverpool would have the fall-off they've had, to be completely honest. It's been nothing short of remarkable/terrible. So they need to bounce back. It can happen, though. Remember in the COVID season, the year after they won the Premier League, they finished 3rd. Van Dijk had an ACL injury. Then they just bounced back the season after. As long as you make Champions League, it's a blip. It can be a blip. You can say it's one of those seasons. Because honestly, if they make Champions League, they might as well finish 2nd. if you think about it. Like, obviously, mentally wise, it doesn't make sense because you obviously want to finish second because it's kind of type of challenging. But if you finish 4th or 2nd, you got Champions League football and you don't win the Premier League. So on Liverpool's behalf, they just got to take it like that. They got to think of it just like that, as a case of, look, if we just got to make Champions League this season. We've got 9 games left or 10 games left, I believe. I think maybe 11 actually. Whatever, they've got 11 games left just in the Premier League season. No other cup competition to worry about. We got to make top 4. By hook or by crook, we make top 4. I don't care if we scrape by on goal difference. We got to make top 4 and we go again next season. We back the manager. We get rid of the deadwoods. That's got to be their mentality for Liverpool Football Club. It has to be, because they can't keep these stable players around the football club. You can't keep the same squad that won you the Premier League in 2020, the same squad that was fighting for the Champions League in 2019 and won it. You can't have the same players for 4, 5, 6 seasons in a row, because not only do they physically get worse, mentally they get worse as well. Because mentally you can't keep the same attitude. You can't mentally want to fight season in, season out when you've already won it. You don't have that same edge. When Liverpool have won every single cup competition, every single club competition they've won, you can name it under Klopp. The FA Cups, the Premier League, the Champions League, the Club World Cups, the Community Shields, the Carabao Cups. Any club competition Liverpool have won under Jurgen Klopp. They've done it. They've completed it. Football, they've completed it, mate. What more have they got to do? And when you've done that, it's very hard to keep at it mentally. Very, very difficult. So I feel for Liverpool. Their fans, obviously, they're never tired. Why should you be? You want to win everything, every season. Every season's a brand new season. No one's talking about, oh, we won the Premier League 2 seasons ago. They want to win the Premier League this season. They want to win the Champions League this season. But mentally, it can be very hard to reach new heights. It's a psychological thing. Bodybuilders talk about it as well. Athletes, Olympic people talk about it as well. Olympic athletes talk about once the World Olympics is finished and they've won their gold medal, they get a little bit depressed because their process is finished, their journey's done. Everything they've been striving for 4 seasons has been completed. I see that a little bit with Liverpool. They've all fought to win the Premier League, to win the Champions League, and they've done it. What more do they need to do? They've completed it. That the drive is lost, so they need to bring in new players. They need a complete squad revamp, out of the old, in with the new, and Liverpool can stay at it. But a big part of that squad revamp is making Champions League, because if they don't, it will put them a season behind. That's just my thoughts on Liverpool. Feel free to disagree. The other problem is you've got players that play every game for 6 years. Rival teams figure out how you set up. That is a great point, CEO, and that is a brilliant point. You can't keep playing the same way, because eventually you will get found out, and that's been the case with Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example, has been exposed defensively. So that's a very good point you've made there. Look at Pep Guardiola, for example. He's completely changed up the way he's played, to be honest. And for example, he's played four defenders, 4 centre-backs today in the team, with Stones sorted into midfield. You need a bit of change to your game. You need to adapt at times, because it can get stale if you play the same way season in, season out. And I think Klopp needs to do that. And I think the biggest change is that he needs to bring in new players, to be completely honest, because his system is falling on deaf ears now. He's playing the same system, maybe a system change, maybe new players, maybe a combination of the both. Do I rate Trent? To be completely honest, I do rate Trent. I think he's a brilliant footballer. I don't rate him defensively. I think he gets exposed. But Trent Alexander-Arnold has not got worse defensively. He's not got better, but he's not got worse. Why did he win the league with Liverpool in 2020? Why did he win the Champions League with Liverpool in 2019? Because the midfield was good. Not everyone's going to be brilliant defensively or attacking wise. Like Alphonso Davies isn't an amazing defender, but he's a brilliant left back because he's so good going forward. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a unique player. You need to make the fact that he's bad defensively make up for that with brilliant midfield. And that's what they need to do with the likes of signing a Nunez or signing a Bellingham. All right, last comments. I need to come off now to obviously for the Arsenal match to watch that. Now I'll be streaming after the Arsenal match. So any thoughts, make sure to keep that for the Arsenal game. You wonder why no teams in the Premier League ever had a dynasty last more than 7 to 8 years. This is why I've said to Arsenal fans, they say Arsenal will be on top for 15, 20 years. No, I agree with you, CEO, 100%. I 100% agree with you. I think with Arsenal, of course, we've got a young team, but mental fatigue is so underrated in football. No one talks about it. You could talk about, oh, they're getting old in age. Yeah, you're getting old in age, but mentally you age as well. If you're playing the same week in, week out, if you're fighting week in, week out, you can't mentally stay at the top. That's why the likes of Messi and Ronaldo are rated so highly, because they are so good, man. So good. They've kept at the top of their game for years, whereas other players maybe been at the top of their game for 5-6 years. That is why they're good, man. Mental fatigue is a big thing in football. Let's hope that you need to chop and change every now and then to keep it going. Panic over Ben White starts. I love to hear it. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning into this stream. Make sure you subscribe down below. I'll be live streaming straight after Arsenal play Leeds. I need to dash right now because the game starts in 1 minute. I've been White Football. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I hope to catch you all in my next one for Arsenal Leeds. Take care.